Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Question Answered by Bright Ideas. I had another question come up when it comes to this plan, and some questions that people had on how to make a project look how you want. And that one of those questions had to do with what's happening here on my wall. There's a moment where this is actually an existing building that's going to have an addition added on to it. So there's moments where this wall is actually being, it's going to be added onto. As a result, though, Revit sometimes does this weird thing when it comes to the wall joints, but this is actually a very easy fix. So there are two things happening here. First, this needs to show as a completed edge. So what you need to do in order to fix this is it's very simple. You're just going to go up to Manage, and you're going to go to, not Manage, Modify, and you're going to go to Wall Joints, which is right above Geometry, and I'm going to click on Wall Joint. And what's then going to happen is it's going to ask me to put my mouse over that corner that I have here that's in question, and it'll even show it to you because they'll put a box around it and it'll give you an idea. From there, the next thing it's going to want you to do is it's going to want you to actually go and cycle through the different options that you have for this joint. So it's very simple. Right now it's set to miter, and I just hit next. And sometimes with some connections, there'll be several different configurations that could happen, and it'll come up and it'll give you a warning. Hey, there's so many options we could go here. Are you sure this is something that you want to do? And you'll tell it yes, and you'll just have to sit there and cycle through quite a few options. So what I'm doing is I'm just clicking through all the different options that are available. When I see one that I feel is the best of what I want, which this is actually a pretty good combination here, what I then do in order to set it is I just actually click outside of the join itself, and then it's set in place. I'm going to want to do the same thing actually with this piece up here. And once again, I'll put my mouse over the join itself, and Revit does a pretty good job of recognizing where the join is. And then I'm just going to click, and I'm going to cycle through until I see a join that works for my project, and here it is. And it's just as simple, and it goes through and fixes it. There's also some moments where some people will get, and I'm going to actually hit escape twice because I need to get out of that plan altogether. There's moments like this where it's not necessarily an exterior finish on the inside where you maybe have this going on, and maybe this was drawn at one point and it was actually drawn wrong. You didn't mean to do that. This is also a very easy fix. I'm going to actually just go up to my split tool, and I am going to click here, and I'm going to click just about where this wall comes into this wall. And I'm going to do the same thing down here, right where this wall pretty much comes into this wall. And Revit is so smart where it kind of recognizes that natural location. I'm going to hit escape, get those two out of there, and I'm just going to go through and click this wall and actually change it to the type of wall that it should be, which in this particular case is it's supposed to be an interior wall, not an exterior wall. So if you ever run into that situation where you accidentally put something in and you didn't mean to, or you were just drawing really fast because you were just trying to get it modeled or masked out really, and you put the wrong type of wall in there, that's okay. You just go back through, you click on it, and you fix it, and you change it to the right type of wall that it should be. Just one last thing you'll have to do. I'm just going to sit here, and I'm going to change these really quick. Bear with me here. Sometimes the computer doesn't keep up with me. If you run into something like this, can't make an extrusion. In this particular case, it has to do with the ceiling. Ceilings are actually something that can be redrawn easily. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete the ceiling out, and I'm just going to go back through and put it in. That is a little bit of a warning that you run into. You have to pay attention, be careful of that, because it may come up and you're doing some work on the other end that you probably didn't want to necessarily do. So I usually like to start with that right type of wall immediately. From here, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click the align tool, and I'm just going to make sure that all of this is lining up the way it should. I'm going to do it by face. Those are going to go into place. Same thing here. This wall is actually in the place that it should be. The other wall is not. Once I do it and I got it in place, everything is looking pretty good. I mean, yes, obviously there's some other things in here that I probably need to fix, but other than that, this is now doing what it is supposed to be doing. So that's all. If you have any other questions, or you're going, well, now I have this issue because I just did that. Now what do I do? Send me a message. Let me know any questions you may have. It looks like I may have to fix this joint here. I will do that here in a second. You can also make sure you subscribe so you see other stuff that comes up. Any other questions other people may have, I like to post those as soon as I have the questions answered. You can also send me an email at brightideas, BRIGHTEYEDIAS @gmail.com. Once again, it's brightideas @gmail.com, and I'll try to answer anything you have. Thanks, everyone.